You know what I hate about getting older? It's the fact that you start to realize the world around you happens to be super duper fake. Take Santa Claus for an example. Remember the day that you found out that Santa Claus wasn't real? One of the worst days of your life, I bet, right? No, mommy, Santa Claus isn't real. This guy who in actuality is really a burglar just came inside our house and left goodies and ate all our goddamn cookies and milk that I left out for him that you paid your hard-earned money for. That guy isn't real. It's a farce. You get older. Take porn for an example. You find out that porn, some of the women fake it. Now, granted, you get much older and you start to tell the difference when you whack off too much. You know the difference between a woman enjoying it versus a woman not enjoying it. When she's moaning and she's grinding on it, you know she's enjoying it. But when she starts pulling that farce over you, when she starts with that, yes, fuck my ass, yes, fuck my ass, yes, oh my god, yes. You know it's a farce. It makes your little thing go whoop, and you just want to just turn off and go find another video. Maybe even a different website, if you will. Professional wrestling is the exact same way. I remember the day I found out professional wrestling wasn't real. Broke my damn heart. And the sad thing is, I found out that professional wrestling wasn't real to be drawn into shoot wrestling. And I'm not talking about those gay guys in tights and singlets going, yeah, let me pin you down on the mat and have an excuse to pretend that I'm actually a wrestler, but in reality, I'm super duper. Well, I can't say that, can I? Yeah, I already got in no trouble. My point being is, you know what I'm trying to say, right? Shoot wrestling. It's all we had left and to really pry out of professional wrestling's dead, dying corpse of our entertainment and excitement. God damn it, backstage drama is the best type of drama. And then you start to realize, is that real? Or is it just as fake? Dear God, don't rip shoot wrestling off me. I need that in order to continue my life. I need that. God almighty, I need that. CM Punk. The focal point of everybody's wrestling news drama circulation circa 2021, 22, and quite frankly, 2023. The dude knows how to keep his head. God damn, this vape is so lit. He knows how to keep his name in headlines. So as you guys know, just to rehash everything, if you're living underneath a rock, otherwise known as Wyoming, you have CM Punk, who's backstage wandering around, causing all types of catastrophe and just all this hullabaloo. Ooh, sorry, my biggest fan. Love you. And he's doing all these things. He's beating up people. He's talking about people's little brothers, and he's shooting on people about action figures and merchandise and drawing power and ticket sales and all this stuff. And apparently, Buddy had a contract as an EVP. Let's just call it like it is. He was an EVP, okay? Let's call it like it is. The dude pretty much ran, what's the name of the show again? Collision, right? And you had Jungle Jack Perry who wanted to do some stuff with some glass because he's an ass. And CM Punk was like, no, sorry, Bob. No, Jack Perry. Go to your room. You're grounded, son. And no allowance this week. Jack Perry gets all PO'd. And then he starts to go on an attack verbally outside of the ring during that pay-per-view show known as All In Your Anals. Or is it All Out Your Anals? I don't know. Who cares? And he says some words like, oh, was it that big of a deal? Or blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Something along the lines of that. He goes backstage. And what happens? CM Punk gives him a knuckle sandwich. He gives him one of those 1-2 buckle my shoes. One of those 3-4 shut the doors. One of those 5-6 I love dicks type of punches. Pause. My point being is, though, all that stuff happened. And what happened? Jungle Jack Perry gets suspended. And CM Punk gets fired. Terminated. Hasta la vista, baby. And one may say, hey, that's not fair. Jungle Jack Perry should have got fired too, even though clearly it was his first offense and you're just a butthurt CM Punk fanboy, or you don't understand how logic works, or you never had a job a day in your goddamn life, or you never associated with people outside of your mom and your pop. And by that, I mean they're earned. Facts. My condolences. And now we have this little situation right here where apparently you have Samoa Joe who allegedly is downplaying everything with CM Punk and all the stuff that happened. And he's like, oh, it wasn't really all that intense. What are you guys talking about? Was it really that big of a deal? And that brings into this real quick. Should I read the transcript for Samoa Joe? No, that's boring. Transcripts are boring when they have nothing to pertain to the actual topic in itself, or at least the complete context and the sauce of the conversation in itself. Is Samoa Joe right? Was all the stuff that happened backstage with CM Punk and AEW and Tony Khan, all the hullabaloo? I said that word twice. Never in my life have I said hullabaloo twice. I'm going to give myself a pat in the back. I might watch some of that fake porn. It depends how I feel later on tonight. My point being is, though, was it really as bad as everybody made it out to be? Was it bad that CM Punk choked out, punched, did whatever he did to Jack Perry, and got fired for it? And the answer is no. In reality, it really, really wasn't that big of a deal. People may say, oh, Devontae, it's really that big of a deal. Chill, you're just saying this because you're on that red pill stuff. Oh, I wish men were men and all this other stuff. And here's the thing. You're absolutely right. Absolutely. Maybe not so much about the red pill stuff, but damn sure about I wish men were men and people can stop being pansies about everything. Because let me give you guys a little bit of a secret. Let me clue you in on a little bit of details about the world that's surrounding you today. People fight. People throw punches. It's life. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and just continue down the road is how I like to look at it. Now, obviously, from a corporation standpoint, standing around those means right there, yes, I understand that you can't be around people who are going to punch you in the face if you make a mistake. I get that. But in the end of the day, this is professional wrestling, right? I can get that type of attitude if we're surrounded by, I don't know, like office man or, people with suits or any of those kinds of guys or the people that Kanye West talks about. Like, I get that. I completely understand that, but it's professional wrestling. It always just it's like the whole steroid stuff in the other day. Oh, it's so bad to use steroids. I'm not saying that you should like be there and you should be popping, pills like you're popping mollies or something like that. I'm not saying that, but I mean, you're not a real sport. You're about as close to television as you are to actually football, for an example. Trust me, professional wrestling is more closely associated to Seinfeld than it ever will be to, say, actual professional wrestling, Olympic wrestling. Because it's entertainment. What's really the harm and what's really the big deal by wrestlers taking steroids in moderation? My opinion, controversial as it may be, that's my opinion. I think JR said the same thing also. But the same thing could be said about fights backstage and stuff like that also. I mean, goddamn, the whole point of professional wrestling is simulated wrestling, right? Simulated fighting, if you will. Right? Like, the whole deal is, guys punch each other in the face. There are even words for things where it gets a little bit too real. As I said before, shooting. Although shooting in this context is a little bit different. A whole lot different. As a matter of fact, it's a completely different circumstance. Why do they have those same two words? Because it means real. That's the whole point behind shooting, is that it means real. So when you have two wrestlers backstage fighting and stuff like that, is it really that big of a deal? Like, really, let's take off our virtue signaling hats for a second. Oh, millennial. Oh, Devontae, why are you saying these kinds of things? You're such a contrarian. Really, bro, is it really that big of a deal? No, it's not that big of a deal. People just want to make something out of nothing in the end of the day. That's my personal opinion. Before you get these newcomers coming inside here being like, Devontae, are you standing for CM Punk? Let me let you guys in on a little secret if you happen to be new to this channel, okay? My name used to be Millennial Schmark, and my whole channel, people would tell you that I am not a big fan of the she or the M or the punk. He is not a big fan of me. He doesn't know me. And if he did know me, he wouldn't be a big fan of me. Said a lot of disgusting, egregious things about the guy. I absolutely despise CM Punk. But you know what? I hate worse and despise more than CM Punk. The P to the U to the S to the S to the Y. The P to the U to the S to the S to the I to the E to the S. SJWs also. You can throw them in there also. People who need to be enclosed in their safe space. Really, let me ask you guys this logically. Like, really logically. Like, just again, take off the emotional virtue signaling has for a second. For just a split second. Okay? Now, I get if you want to have litigations and lawsuits and all this other kind of stuff. But even taking that into questioning also, right? I can understand if there are weapons involved and stuff like that. But two people fighting. What's really the harm if no one's actually dying or something like that? What's really the harm? I mean, from my understanding, back in the 50s, back in the 60s, back in the 70s, back in the 80s, back in the 90s, back in the 2000s, up until probably the 2010s, this stuff happened all the time. How many shoot interviews you see from how many different wrestlers who were like, well, yeah, these guys fought so hard and the police got involved and they beat the crap out of the police and they came back and fought each other some more. People ripping their goddamn eyes off. People ripping off their goddamn noses. People ripping off other parts of the body that I can't say on YouTube because apparently I can get terminated again if I say things like that. Like, we hear these kinds of stories all the damn time because it's professional wrestling. It's a bunch of men. And you can say, oh, you want to. Well, it's a different time. Well, I hate that. So it's a different time. What the hell does that mean? It's a different time. Okay, cool. It's a different time. And how does that change the conclusion from anything? What are you saying? That you guys are bigger pussies now than men back in the days? Is that what you're saying? That's what it comes to. It's a different time. We're way more softer now than we were back in the days. Sure as hell ain't you talking about intelligence because you sure as hell ain't nowhere near intelligent compared to the next person back in the days, because what the hell did you create? What the hell have you done that was new compared to what the person back in the days did to build the platform that you happen to bestow upon today? So all this nonsense of, well, it's a different time. It's such a cop-out. It's such a lame cop-out. How about you actually stay on point with what we're discussing right now and tell me why it's a bad thing or tell me why it's a good thing? Can you do that or can you not do that? Oh, no, you can't do that, because if you could do that, you would tell me why it's a bad thing. Let man be man. Let them fight each other and let them settle their own disputes. Then they shake hands. And if they can't work together, then you separate them. And then you get one out of the goddamn building or one fired or whatever the case may be. Not the one who started it, but the one who doesn't seem to want to finish it, if you will. Because we're men. And at the end of the day, this is how we carry ourselves. We're men. And now you have some men nowadays who will disagree with that notion, and maybe they're not men, but they don't speak for me. They don't speak for the majority of anybody else. Now, again, if you want to bestow blame and talk about this other kind of stuff, sure, go for it. But at the end of the day, not only do I look at the whole situation regarding CM Punk getting into a fight with Jack Perry, being a nothing burger in the end of the day, oh, good grief, he choked him out. Oh, good grief, he punched him in the mouth. Wow, what's the big goddamn deal in the end of the day? What's the big deal? Oh, well, CM Punk made some threats at Tony Khan. Well, CM Punk, he dropped some monitors on Tony Khan. Ooh! Ooh! Big bad billionaire Tony Khan is afraid of CM Punk. My life was in danger. I feel threatened. Did you really, dude? Did you really? I get all this legal mumbo jumbo. You have to say this to protect yourself. But that's all what it is. It's legal mumbo jumbo. Let me give you guys a little bit of a secret. Tony Khan was not in fear. Tony Khan, 9 times out of 10, life was not in danger. None of this stuff was happening. None of this stuff most likely occurred. As a matter of fact, I think I heard earlier today that CM Punk wasn't even planning on suing Tony Khan. Maybe it might change, maybe it won't. I don't know, but allegedly, he doesn't even want to sue him. Because it's a nothing burger. It's stupid. You want to call CM Punk an emotional crybaby and all this other kind of stuff? Sure, go ahead. You want to call him a soft fighter? Okay, fine. Whatever the case may be, do all that. But to sit here and pander to people and say things like, oh my God, get this guy fired because he happened to throw a punch in backstage during a professional wrestling show. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. And we like to play these games all the time. And then you're going to have people in the comment section like, Millennial, why are you downplaying this? It's not downplaying this. It's just looking at the situation, just saying to myself, wow, it's this. It wasn't like this back in the days. It really wasn't. And I blame the internet. I blame social media for giving some of these soft losers platforms to inhabit and just just completely make it so everybody has a goddamn voice. And now a new standard, new rules have been set to cope, to cuddle, if you will, these losers. And now this is the environment that we have nowadays, where fights backstage of a simulated fight now means you're. So with that logic right there, I say, or even if it's a mistake, who cares? Punk can claim it was a mistake, right? Right? If a guy pokes a guy in the mouth for real, if shooting happens to occur in the ring, right? Can someone get fired from that? We're gonna stay logically consistent here. But anyway, that makes absolutely no sense. One guy happens to get into a fight for real backstage due to personal problems, and the other one happens in the ring where 9 times out of 10, it was not a personal problem. It was an accident. I get that, but what I'm saying is you see the underlining, what I'm talking about, underlining message, right? The underlining message is, okay, one person punched another person, physicality. Another person punched another person, physicality. Both for real. So it comes down to you just being emotional. And of course, as always, emotions have to dictate everything in this world. That's why we're in the state that we're in right now currently. Let me know how you feel about the comments I talked about in the video and all this other kind of stuff. Let me know how you felt about today's video. Sorry if the camera's a little bit more dimmed and whatnot. It's nighttime outside. And it takes a long time to like upload some of these videos, so I went for different cameras. This one's an SD, so I don't really care about the whole HD stuff. I don't know. I mean, HD stands for hard. Damn, YouTube, you're handcuffing to my jokes. Let me know how you feel about all the comments in the video. As always, my name is Devontae. I gotta find an outro. Deuces. P. Eyes.